I was in Manhattan twice today. I was also in Brooklyn for a little while, where I was sitting on a bench writing a video about Zakir Naik accidentally refuting Islam, and I heard a guy say, "David Wood?" He was a street preacher in a wheelchair. He said that he watches my videos because he has some Muslim friends. So we talked for a while about how to get Muslims to think more critically about their religion and about how to convince American Christians not to be scared of preaching to Muslims. Later, I was in Manhattan. I didn't hear anything about the attack, even though it was going on while I was there. I received my first notification when I got back to the Bronx. At that point, I wasn't sure it was a terrorist attack. The notification said that shots were fired near the World Trade Center. But as additional information came in, I realized that we're dealing with vehicular jihad. Apparently, a terrorist rented a truck, drove it down a bike path, plowed into a crowd of people, killing at least 8, and then crashed the truck into a special needs school bus while shouting Allahu Akbar. If you're at all surprised by any of this, you obviously didn't watch the video I posted back in March where I said this. So now we're in a position to understand the rise of vehicular jihad. Years ago, Al-Qaeda set the bar for a successful terrorist attack pretty high. A successful terrorist attack was crashing planes into buildings or blowing up subway stations. Mass casualties. Go big or go home. And for years, aspiring jihadis attempted to recapture the success of the 9/11 attacks or the 7/7 bombings. And they failed. Over and over again, jihadis would get caught trying to buy bombs from undercover FBI agents. They would then go to prison, and instead of inflicting terror, they convinced us that the FBI is really on top of things. Eventually, a few jihadis concluded that successful small-scale attacks would be better than failed large-scale attacks. So instead of plotting to blow up a building, they would grab a knife or an axe or a gun or a small pressure cooker bomb and go stab or hack or shoot or blow up a few people in the name of Allah. These small-scale attacks wouldn't be as dramatic as the 9/11 attacks or the 7/7 bombings, but they were much more difficult to stop than large-scale attacks. But even though small-scale attacks are more difficult to prevent, they're not always impossible to stop. Police can keep an eye on people who buy guns or who download instructions to build pressure cooker bombs. If someone's carrying a backpack onto a train, police can tell him to open his bag. But how do you stop someone from getting in his SUV and driving it into a crowd of people? Until he's plowing through the people, he hasn't done anything. How do you stop someone from renting a U-Haul truck and heading towards a local parade? You can't. Now, you can watch the entire 12-minute video. If you do, ask yourself, what did David get wrong in any way? I was right on every single detail, right down to the truck rental, with two tiny exceptions. I said U-Haul truck when the actual terrorist rented his truck from Home Depot, and I said parade instead of crowd near a bike path. So why is it that we can predict not only that a terrorist attack will occur, but also the exact method of the terrorist attack with almost surgical precision? Well, we can predict these attacks because they're extremely predictable, thanks to the process of elimination. Muhammad ordered his followers to violently subjugate non-Muslims and hypocrites. Surah 33, verse 21 of the Quran says that Muhammad is the pattern of conduct for Muslims, and in Sahih al-Bukhari 2977,